Well, hello, everyone. I'm Chris Thomas.
I'm Laura Painter. Thanks so much for joining us on the ABC10 app.
Well, customers of a Vietnamese pho restaurant in Rancho Cordova are shocked tonight after they heard about a robbery, shooting, and carjacking at a spot they visit with their families.
Tonight, the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office is calling it a unique incident they don't see every day, including armed, masked individuals wearing all black. ABC10's Roxanne Elias has the latest.
First of all, I want to point out the restaurant is open and does not seem to be affected, but deputies say the robbery, shooting, and carjacking happened in this parking lot you see here behind me, and the suspects involved were already outside waiting. For families in Sacramento, this Vietnamese pho restaurant off Bradshaw Road is a place they usually frequent for its food and environment.
I come here pretty often. I came here for, graduation, to celebrate. We come family, It's a pretty chill spot. It's really nice in there.
But Monday night, that peace was disturbed when a man and woman were leaving the restaurant and headed to their car when the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office says they were confronted by three masked individuals wearing all black.
As they were walking out, the three individuals were already hiding behind the vehicle. So as soon as they came out, they were ambushed. At that point, you can see a struggle ensues with the male. Again, you can see the female running from the location.
It was during that time, Sergeant Edward Igo says they robbed the man of items he had on him. The man was also shot and then transported to the hospital. And it was around 9:45 p.m. when customers in the area began calling in to report a possible robbery and shots fired.
I don't think it's unusual for this area. I've always been very cautious. I'm never on my phone. I don't play around with anything when I'm walking to and from my car. So I'll continue to do how I normally do.
Sergeant Igo says the suspects fled the scene in the car they were driving and in the victim's car. The stolen car was later recovered empty in the city of Sacramento.
I would say based upon their garb and the fact that they're wearing all dark clothing and masks, they're out with an intent to do some sort of nefarious deals.
As of now, deputies say no motive has been established, but some customers question if it was targeted.
It's a very family-oriented spot. I'm there with my niece, my family, so it's kind of scary to come back.
Jeremiah Peacock says he plans to be more careful when coming to the area.
We like coming here, like I said, at least a couple times a month, and we're going to keep doing it, but probably now be more aware.
The man who was shot is expected to survive. We tried to speak to the restaurant, but they declined to speak to us at this time. Meanwhile, the sheriff's office says it will be utilizing surveillance video from the restaurant and other nearby businesses to determine what exactly happened here last night. They're asking anybody with information to call their non-emergency line. In Rancho Cordova, Roxanne Elias, ABC10.
Well, a hearing regarding sexually violent predator William Stevenson has been postponed. That's according to the Placer County DA's office. The hearing was set for February 13th. It would have discussed his conditional release. But now the court says there may be legal concerns regarding the proposed address that must be reviewed first. A hearing will still take place this month, but it will focus solely on evidence related to the proposed Alta location. Officials say the court will not issue a placement order at that time. There is no new date for a future replacement hearing.
Local officials say Ukrainian cities and energy grids were hit hard overnight as the Kremlin resumed its night strikes. This ends a brief reprieve agreed to by Moscow and Washington.
Yeah, the attack comes as more talks between Russia, Ukraine, and the U.S. are set for this week. Claire Sebastian has the latest.
In the quiet of Kiev's frozen streets, drone wreckage and disappointment after a night that brought a brief and limited pause in Russian attacks on Ukrainian cities and energy facilities to a shattering end.
We heard people running down the fire escape, so we got dressed, grabbed our documents and went downstairs.
Tatiana lives just 2 floors below where a drone hit this building.
It's clear that this is simply extermination, so that we just give up.
Monday night saw the biggest attack in more than a month on one of the coldest nights of the war so far.
We believe that this Russian strike really violates what was agreed by the American side, and there must be consequences for this.
Much of the damage we can't show. Ukraine has banned images of critical energy sites for security reasons. But hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians, again, left without power and heating. An air raid siren still audible as the NATO Secretary General joined President Zelensky in Kiev to pay his respects to fallen soldiers. His message to Ukraine's parliament:
But Russia attacks, like those last night, do not signal seriousness about peace.
Hardly news to those taking refuge in the city's many emergency shelters.
There's nothing to agree on, because if Russia doesn't want to end the war, what can be agreed upon? They're imitating the process of an agreement so as not to anger Trump.
Nearby, Tatiana Kravchenko, displaced by war to Kiev 3 years ago, watches her 2 children attempt their schoolwork in the dim red glow. Of course, there was hope, she says, referring to the energy truce, but I understood what would happen when it got very cold. With trilateral talks set to restart in Abu Dhabi Wednesday, no one here has much faith in diplomacy. All their efforts focused on surviving the final weeks of winter.
Coming up tonight on To The Point at 6:30, some members of our local Ukrainian community say they're facing a crisis. People who fled the war in Ukraine with support from U.S.-based sponsors now say months of delays in their work permit approvals have cost them jobs. The founder and co-chair of Ukrainian American House based in Roseville says many in the Ukrainian community are now at a crossroads with no way to earn a living.
Some of them received the renewal 2 months late, 3 months later. Some of them just no renewal, and they don't have any support line. They submit all documents, they provide everything, they paid extra fee. There is no system to speed up.
In an ABC10 exclusive, I sat down with local Ukrainians looking for answers and the advice from Congress. Don't miss the full story on To The Point tonight at 6:30, only on ABC10. And Chris, really at the heart of this story is the uncertainty and stress that these families and individuals have been dealing with. You know, they're really in a rock and a hard place. They are allowed to be here legally, but as they're waiting for their permits, they can't work. So they have no way of supporting themselves. So it really is a difficult situation. Tonight, we're taking a closer look at their personal stories and what's being done to help them.
And I know it is an international conversation, but this is very real and very local for them, for so many people here in our area.
Yes, you're absolutely right. We'll have that full story on To The Point. Meanwhile, now to new details in the search for Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie.
Yeah, investigators say they believe she was abducted from her home in Arizona against her will. And now they're responding to reports of a possible ransom note. Today, TMZ reported they received a ransom note that demands money and includes details on what Guthrie had on when she disappeared. The note requested the payment in Bitcoin. The Pima County Sheriff's Department says they're taking all tips and leads seriously.
To be in your own bedroom, in your own bed, safe and secure in your own home, and to be taken like that in the middle of the night, that is not Tucson.
Could have been electronic devices left at home that she would normally have taken with her. Also, the way the home might have been left. Was it left in disarray?
Investigators are waiting for DNA results from the scene and reviewing her electronic devices. Officials say she is mentally sharp, but physical limitations would likely prevent her from walking far from her home. One major concern, she's without her medication, which she needs every 24 hours. Experts say the home's proximity to the U.S.-Mexico border adds another layer to the investigation.
Streaming right now on the ABC10 app, the FBI has joined the search for Nancy Guthrie after investigators found signs of forced entry at her Arizona home. We have the latest news conference to watch right now on the home screen of the free ABC10 app.
Well, the California Assembly on Tuesday announced a new plan to boost oversight and accountability. The Assembly Speaker says it's a project that's been in the works since his early days in the speakership. ABC 10's Jenny Ha is live in the studio now to explain.
Well, Chris, according to Rivas, 14 Assembly members volunteered to revisit their own bills that have now been signed into law to see if those intended results are being delivered. He emphasized that passing a law is not the finish line and that nothing will be off the table if a law isn't working. It may be amended. There could be a budget adjustment or a complete gutting of the program. We spoke with Assembly with Democratic Assembly member, Liz Ortega, who is looking into her own legislation that's tackling wage theft.
We pass a lot of different laws here, and so now it's an opportunity for us to see what's working, and if they're not working, how do we fix them? And we have a department that's supposed to be responsible for collecting that money that's being stolen from workers, and currently it's not working. A lot of the wages are being left on the table.
As for a timeline here, each bill will be heard in its relevant committees as well as community meetings. That may include a Q&A session with the relevant state departments and agencies as well. At the end of the year, legislators will present their findings and pitch solutions to boost the efficiency of those laws. Jenny Ha, ABC 10.
Yeah, sounds good, Jenny. Thank you. Coming up, it's finally February, but flu season isn't over just yet. How this season compares to last year.
And later, the biggest sports day is just days away, but Super Bowl events have already started. What the teams had to say on opening night.
A persistent weather pattern through this week, but tracking big changes ahead for next week, including cooler temperatures and a chance for showers.
Flu activity has ticked back up slightly in the U.S. because of a very small increase in infections caused by influenza B. A doctor with Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health says the country is seeing an increase in cases of flu B, primarily among children aged 5 through 17. Experts say this pattern is similar to what the U.S. saw last year when flu climbed to a second peak in late February after initially falling. The recent winter storm across the country might have also played a role. Thankfully, here in our neck of the woods, some nice sunshine, a great excuse to get out into the fresh air.
My only concern, Monica, is that we've had these warmer conditions and then we're going to go right back to the cool conditions next week.
I know. The plants, our bodies, we're all trying to figure out how to dress and plan for the changes in our weather forecast. We're going to break it all down for you here. We start tomorrow off once again with areas of fog, and that's first and foremost what we're going to be tracking into our weather forecast as we get going on our Wednesday, kind of getting through the middle of the work week. Warmer week still on track, and then next week is when we have those rain chances kind of coming back into the 10-day forecast. Right now, though, it's still lovely outside. Temperatures holding in the 60s post sunset at 5:31. Tahoe at 40 degrees. Quite a bit of traffic out there, though, so that's what we're going to be dealing with. At least the roadways are dry, not wet for the evening commute. Highs for today warming into the 60s to near 70 throughout the valley, 60s in the foothills and 50s for this year. This is pretty much in line for what we've been seeing all week long. Even this weekend, when we started to kind of break out of that pattern, we saw more sunshine and highs reaching the low to mid 60s. Now, the foothills have been seeing much of this throughout January, but for the valley, we've been stuck in foggy conditions. Now that fog starting to burn off earlier in the day. So our dense fog advisory is still in play for tomorrow for the northern San Joaquin Valley, but it ends at 10 a.m. and that's going to lead to more sunshine for the afternoon. Storm track still well to the north of us. There's so much in play out in the Pacific, and we're slowly starting to see some of that move back into the forecast with a likely cooler and likely wetter pattern by the middle of February. And we need to get things going because December, January, and February are our 3 wettest months of the year. Those 3 months in 90 days, we get 50% of our annual precipitation, and December and January ended up on the drier note. So here's a look at our weather changes. Moderate to high confidence. We will see some cooler weather next week. Changes begin late Sunday, but mainly north of Sacramento. The lower confidence is how much rain and snow we're going to get and the timing and duration of this pattern change. So let's break it down. Timing actually is pretty good on when all of these changes start to unfold. We get through the weekend, a lot of visitors here to watch the Super Bowl, and then it's the end of Sunday into Monday that we first start seeing that storm track mainly heading north of I-80. Then we dig deeper into the week and we start to see more of a progressive storm track moving through much of the state with more in the way of snow as well. In fact, those snow levels possibly down to about 5,000 feet and even lower. So some nice colder air working in. Highs in the 50s tomorrow for this year with 60s to near 70s still in the forecast for tomorrow in the foothills and the Bay Area. As we move inland, we'll start the day off with areas of morning fog. It gives us a little bit slower start to those afternoon highs, but we'll get into the low to mid 60s tomorrow after morning lows in the upper 30s to right around 40. Moving on to our extended forecast, mountains starting to see some subtle changes by the end of Sunday. We're going to hold off on any of those changes for the foothills and the Bay Area with our local forecast really showing the opportunity of showers hitting us next week with temperatures back into the 50s.
Okay, sounds good, Monica. Thank you. Coming up next at 5:30, the NFL Flag Girls High School Showcase is happening now, featuring the top athletes, including one from this area.
But first, Super Bowl 60 festivities have begun. What the teams had to say on opening night. We're now just 4 days away and counting from the biggest sports day on the calendar and often the biggest TV event of the year. We're talking about the Super Bowl.
And Super Bowl week officially kicked off with some opening night fun, shall we say? ABC's Sophie Flay has all the highlights.
The Super Bowl festivities kicked off last night, and you know what that means. Time for the players and coaches to face the reporters.
I'm just here so I won't get fined. I'm just here so I won't get fined.
It is a rematch of the Seahawks-Patriots Super Bowl from 2015, but there's no Marshawn Lynch this time. And there were some hard-hitting questions for the quarterbacks, like which shoe goes on first?
Putting the left cleat on before I put my right on. I don't know why, but that's been kind of a thing for me.
I put my right shoe on before my left shoe. I put my left sock on before my right sock.
And which of his wife's baked goods does Drake May like best?
Cinnamon roll snickerdoodle. She just made those for the lineman this week. That's my number one. I'll put puppy chow number 3 and the crumble copycat sugar cookie. I'll put that at 2.
Forget baked goods. It was a ham for Sam. Sam Darnold given a fake ham hat.
How about that? That's perfect. There you go.
There was some valuable journalism. Drake May dismissed concerns about his shoulder injury. And NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell took questions. He was asked about the selection of Bad Bunny for the halftime show. The megastar has been openly critical of the Trump administration.
This platform is used to unite people and to be able to bring people together with their creativity, with their talents, and to be able to use this moment to do that.
It seems the only one who didn't have something to say yesterday was Blitz, the Seahawks mascot, who still made it clear which team he thinks will prevail Sunday.
The Seahawks, with their defense nicknamed the Dark Side, are favored by 4.5 points. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
We'll have teams in the Bay Area the rest of this week covering everything from tonight's Pro Bowl games to the NFL End of Year Awards. We'll also stream the news conference for Bad Bunny's halftime show. That coverage will continue throughout the week until Sunday.
And it's not just the pros that will be taking center stage today. The NFL Flag Girls High School Showcase took place today in San Francisco.
It featured the top girls high school flag football athletes, including one from our area.
Yeah, that's McClatchy High senior Daisy Throckmorton. She's the starting quarterback of the girls flag football team, a backup quarterback on the football team, a star basketball player, and listen to this, a 4.0 student.
Well done. ABC 10's Kevin John interviewed her last fall, and now she's one of 32 high school seniors from across the country selected to play on this national stage. We're rooting for her. Coming up, an endangered Asian elephant is born for the first time in about 25 years. Learn how you can help give her a name.
Coming up new tonight on the news at 6, Super Bowl coverage continues and safety is top of mind for the NFL and law enforcement. Coming up at 6, the new restrictions around Levi Stadium, the warnings from officials about no drone zones, plus live coverage from opening week.
But first, before we go, take a look at your screen. This dose of cuteness. The Smithsonian National Zoo is celebrating the birth of an endangered Asian elephant for the first time in about 25 years. We're told she was born Monday and mom's pregnancy lasted nearly 21 months. And this is her first calf, by the way. You can help name the cute baby by voting with donations. The zoo says its new addition will spend her first month or so bonding with her mom. Oh, I'm in love already. You're just going to call her Cutie Pie.
I know, so cute, right? And of course, you can watch us anytime right here on the ABC10 app.